Vineshwaran Rama to come to the front. Thanks, Tanya. So I'll run through a brief background, but I think we really want to hear from the countries, their experiences and the impact. And what we're talking about today is a training of trainers that we held last year, which was really a fantastic learning opportunity, I think, for all of us, beyond just the content, but about the process and the materials that we developed and how that could have helped the countries in the longer term. So this is just an overview. It's pretty clear we want to develop essentially a cohort of competent and experienced trainers in Pacific Island countries who can organise and hold trainings in their own or other countries. So essentially, hopefully the PacMOSSI core team will do themselves out of a job because we will have master trainers based in the Pacific who can deliver appropriate training to their colleagues. And we also identify a really important part of this is helping to develop the packages of resources that will help with these trainings of trainers and then the onward training to people within the countries. So we held this workshop from the 9th to the 13th of October. It was held in Cairns at the James Cook University facility there. We had 18 participants from 12 countries and 15 facilitators. So quite a high participant to facilitator rate, which was really essential for this hands-on, quite intensive training. And you'll see down below, we had Queensland Government, so Queensland Health provided a lot of support to this training. Goispa Group as well came, so they're the manufacturers of one of the sprayers that's used, and so we had invited them from Spain and they came over. They were the experts in the equipment and we wanted the best people to be training our people who will then be training people within the country. So we invited them to attend and they were very, very useful. And of course, James Cook. So in terms of the materials that were developed, we developed a small field guide, and this was based on a guide that was developed initially by USAID for Aedes aegypti spraying. We developed a facilitator guide, and then we had a whole package of workshop presentations. So the idea here is not to brand everything with PacMOSSI and have a PDF that we send and books that we send. The idea is that we will provide the countries with these electronic files that they can then adapt. So they will be able to take the field guide and change that so that it suits the purposes of their teams that will be working in the field. Similarly, adapt the facilitator guide to address the key areas that they think their core audience will need training on, so the field sprayers. And similarly for the presentations. And I just wanted to note that all of these files, like I said, are available electronically. We don't have them on the website, but if you email us, we can send you the link to all of those files for download. We made sure we looked at pre- and post-workshop self-reported competence of our participants. So we had all 18 participants that responded. On the left is before the workshop, on the right is after the workshop at the end. This is how confident and competent they felt in being able to implement residual spraying and also teaching other people how to do that. And I think the most important thing is here, on the left, we had people that obviously needed some assistance, and on the right we have a lot more green, and green is good. So this meant they went from couldn't potentially be able to teach this to an audience, and then they felt quite confident to be able to do that after the training. We also had a rating of the workshop. Was this useful to you? Again, we had really positive feedback, and we took the opportunity to identify some priority needs from the participants that we have then used to inform the development of some of the follow-on activities for PacMOSSI as well. So this provided a really good opportunity to get some more refined idea of what is needed for training. And so now I'd love to hand it over to our country master trainers to report back on how they've used this or how they intend to use this in the future. Thanks, Nelson.
Thank you, Tessa. Good morning, everyone. For us, for Cook Islands, But on that note, thank you, Tessa, for inviting myself to present on what we are planning in our ministry for this kind of training. So first and foremost, I think the main purpose is to prevent mosquito-borne disease in the Cook Islands, and not only the main island and also our sister islands. We call them Paino, which is also known as the outer islands. And also by strengthening the skills and capabilities of all our health staff, health protection officers. So by having the resources and equipment to conduct this, our mosquito control activities, such as research and surveillance, and more effectively. And also we've So we have many new staff with limited knowledge on the mosquito surveillance tools. So as you can see, this is equipment that has been donated by PacMOSSI and the Australian government in responding to our dengue outbreak in 2019, just before COVID. So thank you again, PacMOSSI and Australia and the Australian government. And the approach taken at the moment, now we've with the spraying operators training we did in Cairns, Australia, and the mosquito collection and identification we did in Fiji early last year, we've implemented this two programs into our annual service training program for all our health protection officers. And at the moment, we are reviewing all our vector control procedures. So from what we learned and where we attended the trainings, it really helped us to strengthen and to give us the knowledge and wisdoms that we have our vector control procedures, but then it's just a matter of strengthening what needs to be put into our protocols. And also we are also encouraging our staff, especially those in the outer islands, to continue the use of PacMOSSI online training. So there are a lot of our staff that are still doing online PacMOSSI courses, and at the moment at our port of entry, we've currently did a dengue awareness in terms of people that travels from Fiji, Samoa with the current outbreak situation. So our dengue awareness are now currently running at both our ports of entry in the Cook Islands. So this is some of our spray operators. We are a mixture of women's and men's. So, yeah. And the outcomes for our planning is to have those skilled staff, to have the capacity to strengthen their vector control activities in the outer islands. So there are a total of 25 of our staff, both in the main island and from the Paino. So everyone will undergo the training program that we're going to run at August this year. So, and also on that note, it's the outcomes should be to strengthen our multi-sectoral approach with our communities by supporting our local government with community initiatives. So these pictures represent there are programs we do in the Cook Islands, like the World Cleanup Days, where we have individual communities that comes in and help us. But it runs by the National Environment Services. So this program runs in the Cook Island, the main island, and the rest of the islands on a one day. And the lesson learned are the challenges. So of course, funding would be one of the challenges for us, but then we can't just depending on funding. So, and I think the issue for us in the Cook Island will be the transportation of staff across to the main island. As you can see in the picture, most of those staff are stationed on the outer islands. So the only transportation for them to get to the main island, which is by domestic aircraft, which is really cost, and the estimate cost is about 2,000 New Zealand dollars to bring them across to the main island to do training. So, and of course, human resource for us for now at the moment on the main island is we have our new public health acts that just went in Parliament and will commence on the 1st of July. So there are more work that we need to do with recruiting some more employees for our department. I think this is the last slide. Just an acknowledgement to PacMOSSI. Thank you for supporting us, providing us with the equipment and the spraying equipment. Along with Fiji and Cook University, we appreciate those online courses that strengthen that has given us the knowledge and advanced information we receive on online PacMOSSI training, and of course the Australian government when we had the dengue outbreak. Thank you for the support, and SPC, WHO, and also the Institute Luis Malade. Thank you, Heavy, and your team, and also to the Pacific Island countries, Samoa, Fiji, Tonga. I think this is the only way we learn and for us to strengthen our activities by learning from each other. So, and thank you to Mosquito for bringing us together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nelson. So I think this was a really nice overview of how you've been able to move things forward and your plans for the future based on support from a number of partners to try to address some key gaps. Just to mention also the residual spray trainings that we did hold in Cancer Training of Trainers also addressed yard inspections and source reduction too. It wasn't solely about residual spraying when we went into the field. We had a lot of guidance from Queensland Health on that also. So now we're going to hear from Rama from Fiji. Oh, sorry, same presentation. Who will report on, I think, very recent activity. Last week, I believe, is when you held your training. So we look forward to hearing actually how that went because we haven't had the full report back yet. So over to you, Rama.
Thank you. I know you all must be bored listening to presentations after presentations. So I'll just, first of all, I'd like to thank PacMOSSI for creating that platform where all Pacific Island countries are getting together and sharing their knowledge and experience, and some of the techniques or tools that has been used for vector control and surveillance. I think we all, Pacific Island countries, has been practicing all these works, but still we having dengue day in and out. So with PacMOSSI coming up and encouraging, providing training on the indoor and outdoor residual spraying, that becomes an additional tool for most of the Pacific Island countries. Likewise for Fiji, that will be the first program that will be introduced as a tool to control dengue, and we hope it is effective. So the rationale behind the trainings are, initially we have a lot of new staffs, we have environmental health officers, but on vector control itself and surveillance, use of appropriate tool to get the desired outcome, it's limited. So we'd like to thank PacMOSSI for providing that training tool and providing the training session at Keynes where the officers were able to attend the training and get a hands-on training and come and implement back in our country so that it's more effective. We do have the online training, but to do a hands-on training, I think it's more practical so we can transfer the knowledge to other new staffs in our country. Also, the other rationale behind these trainings is the evolving situation regarding the methods, the equipment, and mosquito behavior. Like previously, as I presented, we used to have a seasonal outbreaks of dengue, but now we can see all throughout the year we have quite a significant number of dengue cases. So the behavior has changed. Something are evolving, so we have to work in par with it to prevent the disease. The approach taken is we are trying, at one point in time, everything was centralized at the vector control unit at the main headquarters in Suba. After the training, what we have done is we are trying to decentralize the operations, transferring the knowledge to the other divisional levels so that the interventions can be faster, and capacity building, and also sharing the knowledge with the municipal councils, because we have municipal council health inspectors doing vector control within the township area, and the Ministry of Health inspectors carrying out vector control outside the town. For the mosquitoes, they don't have boundary, so we are working together to transfer knowledge and share the resources. Also, by having this training and decentralizing, we can stick to the standard procedures. It's easy to have a standard operational procedure across, and we can also use that platform to show the other staffs and organizations why it is important to have standard procedures all across. And it is easy for us to monitor the impact of the new tool, indoor residual spraying, that we have been trained for. The desired outcome: enhance mosquito surveillance and control capacity, train staffs, strengthen the multi-sectorial approaches, share the resources between Ministry of Health, Health Office and the local government, the municipal councils, and keep a very close control on the usage of the chemicals that is being used. What we have also noticed is, this is one of the challenges we have in Fiji, the tourism sector, the hotel industries, they are conducting fortnightly sprays because just to get away and please their guests so that they are not bitten by mosquitoes. So we're working with the municipal councils to see how best we can work with. Rather than doing a perifocal and spray, we are encouraging the hotel industry. That is one thing we are working now in Fiji, to ask them to have the indoor spraying rather than spraying all every fortnightly. But challenges: difficulty to standardize procedures across all divisions because of the geographical layout of the countries, and the type of buildings and the layout of the communities. So that's something that we have a challenge, like in urban areas, in the main two large islands, we have well-structured house, while we move to the eastern division where we have small island and it's the traditional villages. So to transfer the knowledge and for them to accept, it's a challenge. And the other challenges we have is coaching of staffs, the experienced staff. One of the staffs that were trained has just been absorbed by another NGO. So that's one of the challenges. And then training of staffs the trained staffs move to greener pasture. Then the other most important challenge we have for vector control in Fiji is the agenda for the government or the agenda for those people in upper hierarchy, to influence them on the desired activities that we intend to do. Because, for example, like DFED, if they intend to do the funding, the fund is available, but if we ask funding for indoor or outdoor residual spraying or chemical spraying or whatever, for vector control activities, we have to submit that to our hierarchy. Then the ministry will submit that, prioritize what are the ministry's demand before they submit to DFED or any donor agencies. So for us, for the vector control unit, I think it is for the environmental health unit, we find it easy to approach PacMOSSI, it's one of the organizations that is providing and delivering what to the targeted activities that affects vector-borne disease. So it's easy for us to approach and acquire what we desire to have the desired outcome. And probably it would be great if whatever donor agencies are available, if they can support PacMOSSI, where all Pacific Island countries can have a standard procedures and easy to access those assistance. In summary, the training for vector control, it should be continued and not a one-off training. So what we have done is, we have been trained by PacMOSSI for the indoor-outdoor residual spraying. And for Fiji, that is something very new. Unlike Solomons and Vanuatu, they have been practicing that for malaria vectors. But for Fiji, to do indoor-outdoor residual spraying, we have been trained and we have conducted in-house training for our country, for our health inspectors, to transfer the knowledge which PacMOSSI had trained us for. Even though we have been trained, it is always advisable that we have a refresher training at a periodical stages so that we don't lose some of the techniques, or to maintain that quality of expertise of the trainer and those who have been trained as well. I think that's all. Thank you.